Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Stacy Lush and Dave Jackson.
Hello.
With the Airdrie and Area Health Cooperative, but more importantly, representing this Blue Zone initiative. And we just saw this great video, and I am super excited about this because it's something that I think that everyone should be paying attention to, first of all, but this has resonated with me. When I looked at these 9 principles that we're talking about today and things like that, like we're talking about before the show here, and just like I feel like I need to live this, especially the glass of wine. But but beyond that, there's more.
He's been extra committed to that principle at home.
Yeah, and it is true. It's just like
Extra
4-ounce glass of wine. So so Stacy and Dave, welcome to the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so why did you guys start off with just general understanding for everybody what the initiative is?
Sure. So I can give a little background about the co-op, and that'll lead into the Blue Zones to help us to understand
Perfect.
Yeah.
how it all fits in. And
Perfect.
so one of the things that we looked at, and when you look at a person's health, a Canadian Medical Association, they did a study about 5 years ago and say, well, what makes someone's health? Often when we think about health, it's the time we spend with our doctors, when we're sick, et cetera, et cetera. What they did, Canadian Medical Association, they said, well, that's actually only about 20% of your health. A study in the UK said, well, it's only about 5 or 10% of your health. And all the other stuff, which you call social determinants of health, which is, how do we live, where do we work, what are we eating, what are we doing on our day-to-day, our recreational, that's the majority of our health, 75 to whatever percent. Yeah. How's my math? But you guys can figure out the math in between.
It's good. It's good.
I couldn't, so
yeah, there you go. Perfect. So we're doing well then.
Yeah.
That's why we have a team behind us to help us out with those different things.
Exactly.
So what we said is, well, how do we do that? How do we actually affect and help people to be healthier in overall? And so within the Airdrie and Area Health Cooperative, what our goal is let's make Airdrie into the healthiest community in all of Canada. But in order to do that, we got to figure out a path to do that. So we had a few different areas that we're looking at. One is, how do we make it easier for people to be healthier? And that's the Blue Zones, and we'll talk about that today. Another way is, how do we actually empower people to have the information they need? So we want to put together a digital ecosystem environment for people to connect digitally. How do we provide a place that people, if they want to be healthy, they can find out, well, how do I be healthy, and where's the place? Can I meet the right people at the right place at the right time? So we have a health park project. And then we have the cooperative as a whole. One other one, we have something called needs-based groups. We've named it something differently, and I can never get the name right, but the idea is
every meeting.
we do better healthily when we have other people like us that we can work together with.
Definitely.
And so you can actually have a group, and you can talk about same type of concerns, questions, work together. And then the cooperative, what the cooperative is, it's the glue that ties everything together. So it empowers every individual to own their own health, to own their own data, to own their own information, so you can be who you need to be.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so to the Blue Zones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Blue Zones is a community initiative. So think of a well-being initiative. You're at home. You're trying to support this on your own. You're trying to lose weight. You're trying to, get healthier by yourself. You can't do it. It's almost impossible. So this is a community approach to health and to being healthy and living a healthier lifestyle. So we go into the schools, we go into the work sites, we go into all aspects, right down to municipal policy. So they're going to make the city more walkable. We're going to teach the employers how to work with their employees so that they can live a healthier lifestyle and make healthy choices easier. So when you walk into the grocery store and that impulse buy isn't a candy bar at the till.
Right.
Those kinds of things. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
So tell us now where this came from. I am just, and I just got to say it again, I'm just fascinated by this right now. Yeah. So the whole Blue Zone concept, it's not new. It wasn't, you guys didn't come up with it. No. Where did this, and I wish we brought it up here, but we got a special edition on National Geographic that's got it on the cover here. It's sitting right over there. So anyways, but tell us a little about the background of the Blue Zone.
Yeah, so it's Dan Buettner who's the one who started off Blue Zones. But what they wanted to do, there's different communities.
You want to get it?
Oh, I was like,
I'm like, it's not that
hard. I'm okay. It's okay.
It's just 2 meters away on that table. There's no way to get it.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, this is serious stuff. I mean, National Geographic has an entire special edition on Blue Zones, the science of living longer, and I just think that is fascinating. So take us through this.
Yeah, so what happened is they said there's certain communities across the world that people are living longer. They call them, I can't say the word.
Centurions. Or
centenarians.
Yeah, centurions.
So people that live over 100. And say, well, what's different about these communities and why? So Dan and a few other people from National Geographic, they did a study to say, let's take a look at those communities and let's look at the characteristics of those communities. And so those communities were Loma Linda, California. Pardon me if I say it wrong. Okinawa, Japan, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Sardinia, Italy, and Ikara, Greece. And so they
That's
went.
amazing that you remembered that.
Pretty cool, huh?
There was no
Yeah.
notes for this, and that was just, he just banged that off.
Oh yeah, thank you very much for that. It's like-
Yeah, that's incredible. And this magazine features all of those studies on those
Exactly.
communities, right?
yeah.
So cool.
And so what he did is he said, okay, well, let's look at those. What are the characteristics of those communities, and can we now take those characteristics and make a program about that and put it into other areas? So that's this Power of 9, and we can talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But then they took that, they built a program, and over the last 10, 15 years, they've been applying it in about 40 to 50 communities in the U.S. and actually making a difference in health, from obesity rates to diets to activity.
Measurable differences.
Measurable differences in
That's
yeah.
incredible.
And so it's
And
pretty cool.
is Airdrie the first in Canada?
Yes, so Airdrie would
Wow.
be the first in Canada. And
Wow.
so they've looked around. They say the way they've put it to us is that they feel they've got an established program that they're ready to take it elsewhere. And so now they're looking for a place that they can say, first place outside of the U.S., across the world, that this program would be implemented. So
Neat.
pretty exciting.
That's really cool. So can we talk about the nine steps? Is it called 9 steps?
Yeah.
Power 9.
Power 9.
Power 9, yeah.
Power 9.
So the Power 9, and jump in anytime if I start going
Sideways, don't
crazy.
worry.
We get excited about this stuff. So, but the Power 9, it's not a series. It's a series of 9 things that you can do. It's not a series of steps. You have to do this before this and the next. There's not a
Things
set
like
directions.
CrossFit, keto.
No.
Has nothing to
like,
do with
oh,
any
what?
of that.
First you got to do this, then you got to. No,
kidding.
it's
No,
That's
no,
funny.
no.
Yeah, like I bet these communities aren't all on the keto diet right now.
actually.
Yeah, that's right.
But so what it is, it's a series of 9 different things that you do to start to empower yourself to be healthier and make it easier to be healthy. So things like moving naturally. Just find ways to move naturally. One of the things we're working with a mayor right now in Airdrie, and what he's doing is he's parking as far away as possible when he goes to somewhere just to get more steps. So it's an easy way to get steps.
That's really
He's
smart.
riding his bike to meetings in a suit. It's possible.
It's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, it's
and
possible.
So it's just to say, okay, is there a way that I can just move instead of hopping in my car or causing other things? Riding my Segway, all those different things.
Yeah.
Have a purpose. Why are we doing things? What's the purpose of doing this? And actually have a reason for being, and that's going to be motivating in itself because you want to be healthier. You have the downshift. So we all know we get busy. We just keep rolling. It's especially with this connected world, nonstop all the time. Take time to downshift and just actually relax and appreciate what you have around you.
Yeah.
I can keep going. You want me to keep going?
No,
through them
yeah,
all?
you're
Stacey,
going.
it's
You're
good.
doing great. Yeah, you're
80%
doing
roll.
great.
This is not a hard one because you got that great meal in front of you and you just want to keep eating. It tastes so good. But you keep going until you're too full. Have a recognition of, well, I'm about 80% full. That's when I should stop because then
Yeah.
your body, it takes a little while to realize, well, actually, you were full at the time.
20 minutes for your brain to tell your stomach that you're full.
Right.
20 minutes. So that in 20 minutes, you can overeat by quite a bit.
Yeah.
Does it make a difference if you just eat slowly? Because then it would catch up by the time you've been eating?
Enjoy your food. You're supposed to enjoy your food.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What? What?
So fast.
This just got really personal.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Actually, let me just get you guys to slide around
Slide
here.
around.
Why don't you
Okay,
get Stacey
slide
in
around.
the-
Okay, sorry,
there you go,
Stacey,
there
you
you
got
go.
it.
That's okay. Yeah, no, yeah. So think about 20 minutes. So if you're eating slower and you're having good conversation and you're enjoying the time, the people you're sharing time with and having supper with, then you're going to.
Enjoy.
Okay, well maybe you don't want to enjoy eating dinner with Lindsay, but you might. Catching up on the day,
Possible.
Yeah.
all of that. And then if you're slowing down and then you think about, okay, so a smaller plate, if instead of a 12-inch plate, use a 10-inch or an 8-inch, and then you won't overeat because you're not
Totally.
filling it up as much, right?
That's great. That's smart.
Yeah, and one of the beauty things about this, it's not a prescribed, you have to do it this way. It's a learning. As we move forward as a community, we're going to find different ways as a community and share ideas. Just like Stacey just spouted out 3 different ways you can do it.
Yeah.
We're going to learn as we go forward.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Plant slant, more plants and more fruits and vegetables than the meat. Have a way of mix it in there. And so wine at 5, take time to actually have a sit down at the end of the day, enjoy a glass of wine or enjoy time with one another that you can just take in life.
Now, ladies, just want to say, but it's like 5 ounces of wine. This is not like you drink the bottle of wine.
Why are you calling out the ladies?
I feel like we've gotten in a wine culture these days.
Yeah, but
Like,
it's not just the ladies.
it is not just because I'm the one that's pushing wine in our house right now.
So
Yeah.
there's a Sardinian wine. It's higher in antioxidants, and so if you buy those Italy, wines that are they're a little bit more money, but they're better for you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and then for example, for guys
Good
like me,
tip.
so
I'll
I
look that
don't drink it all. So I'm like, well, how do I fit in there? But
Yeah.
if you think about it, it's having a healthy relationship where you can sit down and just talk with someone.
Yeah.
grab a
Yeah.
glass of water, whatever,
Yeah.
sit down, you just put away the less things, and it's building
Perfect.
relationships.
That's awesome.
So then put your family first. I mean, how many of us say that, but how many of us actually do it? Spend time with your kids. Spend time with the people that you love. Keep your elderly close. If you look in Okinawa, Japan, for example, you know, their elderly are taking care of the grandkids, and it gives them that purpose, and it
Yes.
all goes back full circle, right?
Yes.
I know. I recently read a report that people who don't have grandchildren live on average, specifically grandchildren, live on average 12 years less than people that have grandchildren,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
So I guess you guys will be having a baby?
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
So
it's-
your parents
it's
can live
crazy.
longer, right?
You're really putting them on the spot.
Yeah, yeah.
Lindsay
talk
turned a
about
few
it?
shades of red there.
Still just practicing. Still
Oh,
just
okay.
practicing.
That's some here
But that,
somewhere.
that is fascinating. That's a lot of years.
So we got two more. We got two more
Yeah,
principles.
so there's a sense of belonging. So faith-based, you know, belong to something, whether it's Christianity, whatever it is, that belonging, so you have that sense of community that you connect with, right?
And even myself, like who doesn't really, like I wouldn't call myself religious.
Yeah.
Anyway, huge respect for everything that all the religions provide.
Yeah. Meditation.
For me, yeah, it'd be like, you know, I have different, you know, if you have different entrepreneurial groups or you have whatever it is, you have people that you get around with shared interest and
Yeah.
belief. You got to believe in something. And
Exactly.
it could be, you know, the faith in the human spirit, whatever it is, and all these things. But whatever that means to you, having that sense of belonging is critical.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the last one's the right tribe. So there's different words for it. So when you talk to the Buteners, they'll say something called a Mawai, but it's essentially it's a group of people that you can be together with and do things together. So a lot of these things is about community building, finding others that have the same
Totally.
values. Let's do this together, and that's how you're going to do it. And let's make it easy for us to do it together.
Now, I need to add in on this. Oh, this page. I just want
Oh,
to
yeah.
read off some of the stuff that we kind of missed over here because I think this is super
Yeah.
cool. Where it says family first,
Oh, we
invest
missed
time with
family
family.
first.
It-
No, we still have him.
yeah, she said it. But it says add up to 6 years of your life belonging to a faith-based community, and attend services regularly. Add up to 14 years to your life. Like this is stuff that they've done these studies, mass amounts of people, and said as a whole, here's what it's doing. Just because you know when he said like the grandparents looking after the
Gives
kids
them purpose, right?
gives them purpose. You see people retire and all of a sudden just, you know, they're you know dead at 60, buried at 80 type thing. Like
showed
it's
us a video that was so cool when they were here of this like 104-year-old woman who still drives, and she's going over to pick up the old people that are in their 80s to take them to their doctor's appointments. And that's what she calls them in the video. She's like, I'm going to get the old people to take them to, and she's like 24 years older than them.
And what are her big factors that
Sense
keep
of,
her?
sense of purpose. She's out in the community. She's staying active. She's, you know, at 104, would you expect to still have your driver's license? Like, I couldn't believe that.
That's amazing.
And I think one thing to be really specific about the staying active, it's not like I have my gym membership, I'm doing different things.
No.
No, it's I'm
Yeah.
doing my everyday activity. I'm out in the garden, I'm walking around, I'm just
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
it every day.
Choosing to
living
move.
life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
It's about you're living and you're choosing to live. And I love that. So tell us a little about, because this is an Airdrie specific initiative. And we got a ton of realtors in Airdrie. And the reason we felt this was important to come on to CIR is that you guys play such a big role in bringing communities together through real estate. And I
Yeah.
believe that CIR can get on board with this. Not only am I going to look at ways that we can incorporate this corporately for our staff. We just finished up our health challenge we had for our realtors. Like 160 people participated. And simply
That's awesome.
simply daily habits. Simple daily habits. And now, so tell us why Airdrie and what sort of the goal is. And if you guys have other communities that are watching you right now too, I imagine that I can see Okotoks, I can see all these other communities just wanting to jump on this as well. So tell us a little about that.
Yeah, so I can jump in as we go along, Stacy. But essentially, so because you can look at it a couple different ways. Is one, you can say, well, why Airdrie? You're a young community. You're doing all these different things. You're already healthy. And I think it answers both ways. And so why Airdrie? One is we are a young community, and there is that willingness to do it. You got to have that first, that
Absolutely.
body of saying we want to make a change. We want to do something different. So you have that buy-in. The other piece is a lot of the stuff that Blue Zones is all about connecting the community. And I think you had that other slide that we're going to be sharing lately
Yeah.
that talks about
Yeah.
work sites, schools.
Put that up
et
right
cetera.
now, yeah.
Over the last 2 years, what we've been doing within the cooperative is actually meeting each one of those groups and asking them, what do you think it means to be healthy? What are your strengths? What are the weaknesses in the community? What are the linkages? How can we actually become healthier? So what's really neat, we call it kind of the stars aligned, is that we've had this initiative where we've been trying to figure out how do we make Airdrie the healthiest community. Then we started to research and found out this Blue Zones project, and it just aligned so well. From their perspective, they're saying, we want this to be a hit. It's our first time out of the U.S. We want a
Yeah.
community that's ready to go. There's alignment. We're trying to do it. So,
Well, and we're the right size.
and right size as well.
Right?
Thank you.
So
Right.
there's about 70,000 if you incorporate Irricana, Crossfield, Balzac, those kind of around it. But Airdrie
Right.
will be the hub and the bigger place. But around it, get the buy-in from the other little communities that also want it.
Yeah. And then going to your other question, are there other communities watching? Whole goal is let's do this right here.
Yeah.
Replicate. Let's do it across the board.
Yeah.
It's going to make a change.
So give
That's
us,
really cool.
give us, if you had an audience of realtors here, give us a bit of a call to action. It's like what can we do to help support the Blue Zone project?
Nice.
Well, let me tell you what the goals are of the Blue Zone project.
Sure.
So what's going to happen is it's going to reduce healthcare costs, right? So if we're living healthier and we're living longer, we're always going to need the hospitals. But how about if we don't need the hospital because we're living healthier?
Yeah.
And so
Amazing.
that's going to save us billions of dollars. We're not talking about a couple $100,000. We're not talking a couple million.
Billions.
Billions of dollars in our healthcare savings. So that's fabulous. But it's also going to increase our quality of life and increase our healthy quality of life. So at the end of your life term, when you're sick, between 80 and 100, you usually spend most of that time not feeling well. That's when disease hits you. That's when you're, going downhill and towards your end of your lifespan.
Yeah.
Well, what if I could give you 14 or 15 years of that 80 to 100 where you were healthy, and then you could still be out doing the things that you love to do?
Yeah.
Would you buy in then? There's your call to action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, if I can extend your lifespan by 14, 15 years by saying to you, hey, why don't we move naturally? Why don't we eat better? Why don't we, spend some time with our family and our friends? I mean, are those things a challenge? No, they're what every person wants to do.
Yeah.
And the call of action starts one person at a time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
every one of you guys out there,
Yeah.
find what the Blue Zone principles are, live them, start doing them, and it'll spread.
That's
It'll start
beautiful.
spreading like wildfire.
And is there online? Is it bluezone.com or is
You
it?
can go through our website, and we have
Okay.
links in there, videos and all
Okay.
sorts of things. If you go to the Blue Zone website, they also have recipes and all sorts of information there as well.
Yeah,
That's
a-
really great.
Yeah.
A good place to start on their site, they have something called a 3-minute wellness survey. So essentially, you take 3 minutes, you fill it in, and it's going to give you 3 metrics. It's going to say, how long are you expected to live?
Oh no.
How long are you expected to live
might not
healthy?
wanna know.
Sorry, just 2. And how long are you expected to live healthy? And it has a gap
Yeah.
there. And then it gives you some ideas. Okay, so the first time I did that, I was like, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
you
not
learn really
great, but
quickly
I'm
you're not doing okay.
All of a sudden it looks, okay, well, Dave, you're going to live this long, and you're going to have about 12 years that you're not living healthy.
Right.
Oh, I'm so
And-
excited to do the survey.
And it says, here's some ways that you can start to be healthier. And it's, once again, it's kind of like a nice little kick in the butt to say, okay, I got to start changing some of the things.
Totally.
It's little things. I sit at my desk all day. Am I doing some other things? But I'm not getting up, doing
Yeah.
my walking, all those things.
Yeah.
So now when he takes
Interesting.
phone calls, he walks around the island in his kitchen.
Nice.
Good.
So
Really
good.
You know, and they talk about things like a walking meeting.
Yeah.
So how about a walking meeting? So can you imagine, there's 7 of you or 8 of you in the boardroom, and all of a sudden there's no chairs, and you're going to talk and you're going to walk around the boardroom.
Yeah.
So that you're still moving naturally, you're still having your meeting, you're still talking about things, only everybody's moving instead of sitting
I had
still.
a stand-up paddleboarding meeting on Friday. We were going to go for lunch, and then we're like, let's just go paddleboarding.
Yeah.
Well,
And
that's
same
awesome.
conversation on paddleboards.
Steve Jobs used to do it. Take people just for a
that
walk
was
around the
pretty cool.
campus,
Yeah.
and you would do your meetings that way.
How about a staff meeting on the golf course?
Our, sta-
Done.
our staff drinks too much. So,
I didn't say there was alcohol involved. You got to do it at like 8 in the morning.
That's true. That would
You
make
know,
a
and then you
difference.
play 9 holes. It's a 2-hour meeting. Yeah, you know.
That's awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming on, and,
Yeah.
and I want to give a big shout out to everybody at CR, because we're going to be as sort of and at the timing can be more perfect on the heels of the health challenge here. Even though this is a project that you guys are really going community-wide in Airdrie, I'm so jealous. First of all, I really am. This is something that we're going to be bringing more to the company's attention. I think as a company, it's easy to embrace because they're simple daily habits. They're easy to do, but
Yeah.
also easy not to do in some cases.
Yeah.
So I believe, control falls awareness. And thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank
and
you.
sharing
Thank you
some
for
Thank
having
you very
us.
much for
Thank you.
coming.
This is fantastic.
Awesome,
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So thank all of you guys for tuning in, and we look forward to providing a lot more information on the Blue Zone project in the coming months.